Thought Cat walked into a playoff-style basketball game with a regular season mentality. And with that being said, he's running into people, drawing fouls, and not getting those calls. And he got a little frustrated, kind of got out of the sorts a little bit. And once he got in foul trouble, like RJ, you lose your rhythm.
Yeah.
And he lost his rhythm, and he kind of lost his way a little bit. And then he's trying not to foul and being in position. And the Clippers did what they're supposed to do. When you're in a situation where it could go either way, you fall down. You see right there, you fall down, and you make the referee make the call.
And look, T. Lue is one of the masters at this. He's one of the masters at taking away things, making certain players uncomfortable. So I want to give a ton of credit to T. Lue and his game plan for taking out the All-Star. The only problem is that All-Star had a lot of help.
I thought that Chuck made a good point on Inside last night when he said that, yes, he saw that Chris Finch, I know Anthony Edwards gave him a lot of credit for his coaching last night, but at a certain point, Vince, you and I were talking about this before the show, at what point do you need to be able to see the way that the first 3-4 fouls are racked up? And I know oftentimes guys say, well, we have to trust our stars. We have to trust our guys. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you have to be able to say, this is the moment that I'm going to say, you know what, right now I'm going to save you just a little longer just because I saw the way these other fouls played out. But Perk, I know you wanted to give Towns the business. This is a direct quote from you. You want to give Towns the business, so I'm just going to give you the floor.
Uh-oh.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, and here's why. Yep, here we go. Let me tell you why. For the simple fact that I'm all in for current players partying and being on podcasts, but Karl-Anthony Towns has been talking a lot of noise about other players. Karl-Anthony Towns had some comments about Russell Westbrook padding his stats. Karl-Anthony Towns said, boy, where we from New Jersey, we get held accountable on how we perform and how we bring home championships. Well, guess what, Karl-Anthony Towns? You did none of that. And I'm not even talking about the numbers as far as putting up points, but it's other ways to affect the game.
Sure.
And what I'm thinking of is we're not talking, if this was Anthony Edwards, you know what, we would say this is a learning experience. We're talking to Karl-Anthony Towns, who's a veteran, all-star, has been in the playoffs one time. So he knows how to approach this. And my whole thing is, when is he going to learn that there's other ways to affect the game, not only just by scoring? I can't give him an excuse about the foul trouble. Some of those fouls were dumb fouls. If you know that you're in foul trouble, why would you go for that last foul and go over a guy back?
Right.
That's not good. So my whole thing is keep that same energy that you apply to others. Keep it when it comes down to you and apply it to yourself.
Yeah, but I agree. But this is one thing. We can't sit here and talk about the energy that Pat Bev brings and putting batteries in his entire teammates' back. And all of a sudden, one of the better players for the team is talking about. I love this about Cat because Cat, there was a lot of conversation when Jimmy Butler left. Jimmy Butler left because he felt like the energy wasn't there. And you're like, well, wait a second. Does this team, do they have the grit? Do they have the fight? And Karl-Anthony Towns, while he is a veteran, this is his first moment as the best player on a quote-unquote playoff team. And he was, look, he was not sharp. He was not sharp. He was not sharp at all. He got in a ton of foul trouble, and his rhythm was off. Now, the one defense of Coach Finch is that you got two other horses.
Sure.
So if you want to go a little bit longer and try and give Cat a little bit extra time, you got those two other guys to like, hey, I know these two guys can play, but Cat has to be better. This wasn't a playoff series, and just like everything else, if you lose a game in the playoffs, it's not as bad as you think. If you win a game in the postseason, it's not as great as you think, unless it's the closeout. So the last thing I'll say is that he's got plenty of time to learn from this moment and do better in the playoff series.
I firmly believe that Karl-Anthony Towns belongs on an all-NBA team the way that he was playing this regular season. The question now is, how can he translate that to the playoffs? Do you see a path for that, Vince?
It's definitely a path. He just has to understand. It's just a different ball game. You can't expect fouls. You can't go searching for fouls because in the playoffs, you have to earn your way and to make it deep into the playoffs with so many great teams. So I think he'll make an adjustment, and it's still a learning curve for him, and look for him to be a little better in first round.
Preacher Perk, I'll give you the last word on this topic.
I'm just, Richard, I was supposed to be on the flight today and be right there in studio with y'all, but some way you still make my skin crawl from thousands of miles away. To say that you're a champion.
Weight limit?
No, to say that you're
a weight limit. Why didn't you make your flight? What's going on?
It's all good. Listen, the thing that bothers me about you is that you know the game of basketball. And here we are, we talking about, oh, it's a learning process and he can have tomorrow. Here's the thing that I look at when I look at cats. How is he guarding the pick and roll?
Terribly.
How is he down there mixing it up with Big Zubac
Not
for us
well.
getting rebounds and being available? How did he protect the basket? Like, those are the little things. I don't care about nothing else. And so you try
He's
to
in a
bring up the
7-game
point as
series
far as
now,
me
Perk. He's in a 7-game series now. That's all that matters.
I know, but you tried because you tried to bring it up for the fact talking about how Patrick Beverly are putting the key in guys' back. Well, D'Angelo Russell played well. Nas Reed played well. Anthony Edwards played well. Hell, they wouldn't have won that game without Patrick Beverly yesterday. And he didn't have the best box score,
No.
but he did
7
every
points,
single
11
thing he
rebounds, 3
needed to
assists.
do that didn't show up in the state sheet.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.